and welcome to We Live in a Society.
I was born in a very poor family, so we have only one home, one room to live, and we were sleeping and eating in the same room. So it was like just one room. So, well, I would say it was very constrained in terms of what I can have or what I cannot when I go to school, and my friends have many games to play or many stuff to do, but I didn't have almost nothing. So it was a bit but slowly I understand the situation of my family, so I adapted according to that. So my father used to work in the industry, and my mother was mostly doing the house work, and it was the life was chill, calm, not too much rush. And well, my saddest moment was when I was in India. I was not very mature, and I was around the age of 12, 13, and my father was quite violent, uh, domestic violence. So when I used to see my mom beaten up by my father, it was very sad because I couldn't do anything. I was not strong enough to do anything. So that was my saddest moment, and that was the moment where I felt the most helpless also. When I moved to my university from my hometown, actually, so I was living in very small, it's not a small town, but it's not very well developed. So I had to move to another city, big city in India called Pune, and it was the first time I was moving out of my home. So I felt and I was the first person who got selected for the university from my village, so for master. So that was my happiest moment. His name is Gajendra. I love him. Like, he is the best person I have known so far. So, and he helped me in whatever situation I asked him to help, and he understands me better. So yes. And the best thing we have is the honesty. We are always honest with each other. So yes. And for me also, in a relationship or even in a friendship, the best important part is the honesty. If you remain honest, you can face any difficult moment pass together. One particular moment which is very important for me, like where I am right now, or the way I am right now, it's very important. If I wouldn't have chosen that particular moment, it wouldn't have been possible for me to be here in France, in Lyon, or even in terms of not even in terms of place, but in terms of my mental evolution, the way I thought in my early childhood and in the beginning of my teenager and after. So when it was the time so when I have to move to university after my plus 2, so I have an option, I can choose between engineering and science. So engineering was in my hometown itself, so the college was in my hometown, and the science college was 1500 kilometer far from my home. So I have to make a choice whether I want to live near my family or far. So, and the other thing is, in India you have very different culture all across the different parts of India. So if I would have remained in my hometown, I wouldn't know much, or I wouldn't have diversified myself in that sense. So so it was a difficult choice because in science you do not have much technically speaking options for job after finishing your degree. So but in engineering you will get it. It's a bit because applied science, so you directly get a job. So I have to choose between two of them, and I choose the science. And if I wouldn't have chosen that, I wouldn't have been here, because that university where I have to study my engineering, that was not very the popular one, so I couldn't get in France if I wouldn't have gone to the other one. And also in terms of, because where I lived for my education for 5 years, it was very diverse, because people from north, south, everywhere was there. and I have to learn English because I didn't knew English before that when I was my hometown. And I learn different languages because we have to interact with many different culture, many different people, and yeah, so it was very interesting in terms of to grow and to evolve. Well, I have a story. Actually, it was a very difficult time when I moved to my university. So I keep on talking about my university because that was my most important part of my life, I would say. So when I had everything in my mother tongue, early childhood education until +2, and after when I moved to university, it was everything in English. And the first day introductory lectures for everything in English. I was like, wow, how many people can speak English in India? Is it really? I'm in India. It was really crazy for me because I have never seen in my hometown nobody even speaks single word of English, and it was crazy to see everyone is talking is fluently in English, and it was too much for me. I went to my faculty advisor and talked to him in Hindi. I don't know whether I would be able to be here because I think it's a very high class society, and I don't belong to be here. I called my father. Maybe I will come back because I won't be able to survive here. He said, okay, you try for a few days, and if you think it's not appropriate, you can come back. And my supervisor, advisor, told me, it's okay, here everyone speaks Hindi, so if you have any problem, you can come to me, you can come to the teachers. They speak Hindi, so they don't speak in the class, but they speak, so you can ask questions in English, in Hindi also, and it's okay. So he actually really helped me a lot in this phase. During first 3-4 months, he helped me a lot with the English and to learn in order to understand everything. So yeah, that was a very good for me, and I was able to learn and able to survive there. That was a very important part for me because when you are going for learning English, I learned as a subject, I never spoke, so I learned grammars and rules, but how to fill in the blanks, but not as a speaking. It was completely difficult. So, and I was when I was child, I studied in boys' school. So I was not used to talk to girls also, and in my group I had 3 girls and only me boy. So that was also, I was not able to even talk to any one of them because I was not used to. It was yes, it was I don't know how I would say, it was funny or yeah, but it was quite challenging. Yes. Actually, I like many people. I appreciate the effort people have made in the past or right now. But the most admirable person for me is I don't know. It's a bit spiritual side, but I like the most admirable person for me is Buddha. So I like him a lot. I love him actually. I'm not Buddhist actually. I'm born in Hindu family, but still I love the way he has described about life, and then he taught to the other people the way of life and a life of morality especially, and I like his concept about the morality. Of course, the morality is very subjective, but yeah, I admire him most in my life. In India, it's not very common to have sex education. So when I was in my around 12 or 13 years old, so I started to have wet dreams, and I didn't it was really surprising for me because I didn't know what it is, and I was very surprised and afraid, is it a problem? So it was very strange for me, and afraid also. I was afraid during that time, and earlier it was less frequency, so I avoided it, but when it gets more and more, I was very afraid. I decided to go to the doctor, and so I went to the government hospital, and so there you have to first tell what is your problems, and then the receptionist will refer you to a doctor. So I went to the receptionist, and he asked me what is your problem, and I explained him, and he was like, what? I said again to him, and he said, okay, go to room number this, and I went to that room. And it was a female doctor actually, and I have to talk to her about my problem and where you have never talked. Sex is a very taboo in India. It's nobody talks about it except when you are with friends. That's all. So it was most embarrassing because I cannot face her. It was so embarrassing for me. I was looking down at my feet and just saying, okay, I have a wet dreams problem, and she was like, what? Because my voice was too soft and I was very slow, so low pitch. So, and then she asked me 3 times, and then I spoke a bit louder, and then I was very scared and afraid. I was looking down at my feet and I felt very ashamed, like I did or committed something wrong like this, because in India it's a taboo, so nobody talks about it. So it was very scary moment for me, and shameful also. I don't know why, but he referred to me other doctor, male doctor, and then he was like a medical student, so he explained me everything. But it's not a problem actually. Why? Actually, he asked me, why do you think it's a problem? Well, it was an interesting question because I never thought why I think it's a problem. So I explained him, okay, because in the newspaper you see this kind of ads which describes this as a problem, and I talked to one of my friend and he was also not very sure, so I decided to go to see you. So that was kind of funny also, and kind of very scary part also for me, because now I know it's very important to have this education. Otherwise, like I suffered like almost 1.5 years during this period, because I couldn't talk to anyone, and with my friends also it was not very clear because they also don't know much. So it was like that. And I really think in India it's very important to keep this education, because many people are protesting against this education. I don't know why. Yeah.
Was there a moment in your life where you didn't seize an opportunity and you regretted it? Or was there a situation where you did seize an opportunity and it's changed everything for you?
Yes, as I told you, my childhood was not very full of opportunities. It was very constrained, and because when you are poor, you don't have much opportunities. So, and especially when you are in a small town where you do not have much possibility for good education, and also everything. I mean, good healthcare. You don't have good healthcare, so it was pretty harsh, I would say. And then, but I would say the turning point was choosing the university, I would say, because that's changed everything for me. Because if I would have chosen the engineering, I would have remained within a small town of India and working somewhere in a small company. I would have never explored the rest of the world. Now I have a dream to travel the world. So after France, I want to travel different parts of the world. So yes, it's changed everything for me. So that was a very particular moment.
Who in your life have you had the hardest time forgiving?
Well, yet it's my father actually. So he did a lot of things for me, and I appreciate and I like him and love him for that. But there are few, like everyone has good and bad side. So the bad side is so bad, like it's unacceptable for me. So it's for a very like I don't think I can forgive him. I don't know. Till now I still it's hard, because when I was a child and when I used to see the domestic violence, and I couldn't do anything, helpless child. So it hurts, and like it makes you think in such a way, like even now if my father wants to do something good, I will stand against him. I don't know why, but it's like just I don't want him to appreciate, like I don't want to appreciate any effort of him. I don't know why. So even if sometimes he wants to do something good, somehow I will find a way to stand against him. After coming to France, because as in India we do not have much opportunity to go for vacations. It's not like because the culture is like you have to work a lot and you don't get so much money, so even on weekends people work, so we don't have technically speaking we don't have much life. It's like just working and sleeping, eating, that's all. So but when I after coming here I realized no, there is the other part of life which we enjoy. So so yes, I mean it was when I went to actually Cologne, and it was Cologne Carnival. Oh my god, it was amazing. Really, I mean the first so in India when you drink, if you drink on the street, police will beat you, and yes, if you are drunk, police will beat you with the sticks. And here I was seeing police were offering you, I was in somewhere in the university campus nearby, so there was many students, so police were offering paper cups to pour the drink and keep the bottle in some place so that you won't hurt yourself. I was like, wow. It was amazing for me to see that, because in India you never imagine that police. Oh my god, it's yes. So that was the most memorable like vacation. In my childhood years, when I was in my hometown, I was very influenced by my mom. So actually she is the kind of greatest inspiration for me. So even she believes something which now I don't believe, but that's okay. So I was influenced by her, so I was following some like in India for Hinduism what you follow, so you worship the god in the morning and the evening. Yes, but when I moved to my university, then I start questioning what is God or where is God, something like this, and I got engaged with some philosophical discussion also, and learn about other religion also. So it was not only Hinduism but the other religions also. So then it changed my belief. So now I don't believe I don't follow any traditional kind of tradition for religion, but I do believe still in morality, and I meditate. So I mostly now incline towards the Buddhism, or you can say the teachings of Buddha. In India there is a group which wears like saffron color cloths. So on the day of 14th February, like the Lovers' Day or Valentine's Day, so they catch, especially in my state, it's more Hindu dominated state, so especially they catch the couples and they make to say to each other they are brothers and sisters. It's a very funny and scary.
So that's very interesting. Could you explain that in a little more detail?
Yes, so actually it's not Hinduism, but they are people who represent themselves as a follower of Hinduism, but even perhaps they don't know anything about it, but they say like people are destroying our culture if you roam in open space with holding each other or kissing. Kissing is very kind of unacceptable. You don't see in public places in India. It's very uncommon. So on that day of, mostly they are more active on the day of Valentine's Day. So they they search in parks, in public spaces where they can find the couple, and then they make them, okay, you have to say to each other you are brothers and sisters. And in India you have a tradition for brothers and sisters, so you have to tie a thread. So sister will tie a thread on the hand of brother. So it's a very old tradition. So they give them threads and to tie, okay, now you are brothers and sisters officially. No, they are sometimes they are very violent also. So
Violent?
yes, sometimes they can be violent. So it's a bit difficult. We have I mean there is no like, they make you force because they are not one thing. There is not one person who will come. It was like 7-8 people will come to you and you will be scared because what they are going to do. So yeah, so and it's a bit scary. I don't like that, but that's how it is. For my life, I am grateful. I have a good body. Yes, it's I mean I have everything working properly because not everyone is fortunate enough to have this. So and now I can, so with this I can achieve anything. So yes, I am grateful for I am alive and grateful to have good body. Not in the sense of physical, but to
Healthy.
Healthy. Yes.
Yeah. What have you learnt in your lifetime that you could pass on to the younger generation, or perhaps to children still living in India?
Well, it's too early to ask me this question, but anyway, I would say for younger ones, I would give the advice: don't follow all the suggestions given by older ones, because the experience are not the same. The way I am experiencing the life and the way they will experience the life, it's not going to be the same. So it may not be very appropriate to all the suggestions they should follow or they should accept. And the best advice I can give, like, learn from your mistakes and don't make mistakes twice. If you make the mistake twice, it's not a mistake, it's your decision. My mother and father went to in a family wedding, some person's wedding. So I was alone with my sister and we were playing, and I got so she did something wrong and I got so angry, and I put a stick and hit her on her leg very hard. Oh my god, I still feel guilty about that because she couldn't walk for 2-3 days. It was really hard. And she was so nice, like she didn't told my parents, and she said that she was fallen somewhere and she got injured. So I still feel guilty about that. So I mean, yeah. We live in a society